Hi guys, this is Massa from the Great White North. So we have one more deck tech today with our friend Will, who helped us learning the game with a gameplay video that you can watch here. So hi Will.
Hello.
So how did the championship go for you?
Well, it was an awesome day, and I had so much fun. I did no, I did make the top eight, which was my goal, was to make the top eight. Unfortunately, the first round of the top eight, I did come up against Sid,
Mm-hmm.
and unfortunately, as we can discuss with my deck, there is a fail state in the deck, and it did happen once I reached the top eight. The beginning of the day, the deck was just working very well, really aggressive. No one could no one had defenses to counteract the blitz of my creatures.
So what type of deck did you play?
So I played Idris Blitz, which is pretty much drop Brooks and hit face.
Yeah, that's
which is basically just get aggressive, don't let them set up, and then and fireball directly their champion. Unfortunately, I've played this deck for years. I've loved this deck. I've adjusted it over time, but when I came up against in the top eight in Sid's deck, I didn't have the cards to counter his burst damage, and the first game I didn't see a single summon for 5 turns, and it was just a very unlucky situation. And he was able to capitalize on that, and that was my top 8 run done.
So for those who watch Steve video, Steve call his deck aggro, but his version of aggro is casting bolt shot until you're dead. Which your version of aggro is actually having creatures aggressively attacking your opponent.
Having more creatures than them, so I have more turns, so I'm doing more damage to their champion when I want to. It's basically
so a big part of Stevio deck was kind of having a control aspect where you can, or tempo aspect, so that you can, slow down your opponent until you can kill them. And so it comes to this question: when you have an aggro deck in any kind of game, the issue is like if you put like 4 creatures on the field, even if they have Blitz, they can do some damage, but then your opponent gonna cast a Purifying Wave or a Tsunami or a Sunstorm, and you have nothing, and then you draw 1 card per round, per turn, and you're gonna and you're gonna do nothing. So how did you mitigate this aspect?
So understanding that having a knowledge of what people are playing and having knowledge of how the game has worked for the years I've been playing, I can assume certain times what people are going to be doing. So if I see a Nubia sit down across from me, I know that they could either be running the Angel Storm Protector kind of deal, or they could be holding on to a teleport and maybe trying to get in and do a bunch of burst damage. If I'm facing a Thymos and Bellum, so yellow and red, I could come up across Purifying Wave, so I need to be aware of that. Or if I'm facing a Rain or something like those different types, knowing how the competitive side of those champions works allows me to make my decisions based upon that. So in the deck, you're right. If I were to have 4 Brooks in my hand and play them all out, I could get blown up, right? Coon matchup, right? If I was facing a Coon, I wouldn't play a Brook until Coon was right up beside me.
Well, at least in range. I would use
Fireball, right? Fireball.
Yeah.
They come into me, and they turn to attack me. I step back. I'd go Brook. They each get to attack before the champion gets to move.
So can you, let's see your threat. So that's an aggro deck. So you see you have Barak. How many Barak do you play?
I'm running 10 Brook.
All right, so get your boxes, guys.
Yes. So 10 Baruch. This gets me. I want to see 2 of these in my first 7 cards. So I need to be able to try to get 2 of these down. Is sort of what I'm trying to establish. I have the Galata Baboon.
Yeah.
Which is slow, but again, if my opponent's coming in at me, or if I'm moving and advancing on them, and I drop these on their side, they don't have to move. They can just attack 3, 3, 3.
So why do you say this is slow compared to Barak?
It's an action speed heavy attack for the
yeah.
So I can only move 1 space with this and then attack.
Barak is swift, right?
Baruch can move 2 spaces.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And attack, right? And then the rest is sort of a supporting cast depending on what.
So you have only the Barak and the Baboon for threat.
So for the championship, because I knew there was going to be a lot of area of effect spells, a lot of tsunami, a lot of maybe landslide or bolt shot doesn't target. I brought in the Anja Tiger.
Yeah.
So the Anja Tiger has a secret tech where you can quick beckon, so it's swift. You drop it behind you, you have it target yourself, and then you can O10 out. Right? So if they try to bolt shot you, you can drop the Anja Tiger, you then become targeted, which allows you to use O10 to get out of the way of a bolt shot.
I see. But isn't it better to play Chrono Walker?
Well, it would be, but I can't play Chrono Walker in my color.
No, I know. It's just I'm playing. I see.
Chrono Walker is the better response to the bolt shot, but this is just a way of sort of mitigating that.
So just to remind, Idris is which color? It's red.
She is red
black.
And black. Yeah, Chaos and Thymos.
Yeah, not much mobility there.
No. So so I can, for mobility purposes, I have the jump, and I have Malicious Persuasion. Yeah,
those cards are good. We found that Malicious Persuasion is good. You can push your creature also.
So what a lot of people don't realize is that when your creature, especially the Baruch, when the Baruch moves twice, right, it goes to its end phase. So if you move from your side in front of your champion, it's on its end phase. You can play Malicious Persuasion. You can
still push it and
push it forward, and it can still attack.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
So using that, moving them around is very good. The jump is used over the leap because I need this awareness. I need to be able to move on the diagonal when I want to.
Yes.
Because if my opponent's coming in, they drop their summons on their sort of adjacent spaces. I can move once and then leap and place my Baruchs on top of their summon so that they can't attack the next round. So it forces them to have to play their champion and activate their champion first, because if they activate their summon, all my summons are going to hit them again.
So let's come to a question that I often forget to ask. Do you want to play first or second?
So I don't care in this deck.
Yeah, I feel like you don't. Well, it's kind of good
if I go first.
Yeah.
If I go first, I can bait in the champion to come in and attack, or I can make them move to where they're going to be. Going first is my preferred, because I can play my Blitz creature. If they try to come in and attack it, I can. If I have the Malicious Persuasion, I can protect it, and then the Blitz creature gets to go again. And my whole goal, sometimes in the one game, I was able to get my Anja Tiger on turn 1, going second. I was able to get my Anja Tiger behind their champion because I was able to jump and get it around. So now I had them on 2 different angles. I had a Baruch in front of them and an Anja Tiger behind them on turn 2.
So you have the Barracks, you have the Baboons, So you have jump, you have malicious persuasion.
Yep.
What else do you have?
Okay, so then for my 3 cheese, so the starting deck, I had 2 of these, Underworld Knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, that is for me to steal game 1. When I have this in my game 1 hand, 1 health is probably not going to make a huge difference. Try to get that extra Brook, try to steal game 1.
Yeah, I mean, it's in your deck. It's in your deck.
And then I drop these out for Otins in the next
game 2. That's, so how many you play of those?
2.
So you play
it's just a steal
deck.
So it's just if I draw it, I know that I'm drawing. It's just for game 1.
Mm-hmm.
The Infernal Ghoul, it's not much to look at, but it's a 2/1 body for 6 aura, right?
Mm-hmm.
So these can chip away at big creatures. They can work as movable walls. I can block in my unflying opponent.
So do you play those in your timeline or in your aftershock?
Yep. In my timeline. Yep. It's just it's an easy way for me to protect Idris' sides, because again, Idris herself is very slow. She has 2 action abilities.
Yes. I guess you want to fireball every turn, right?
Yes. And sometimes I need to, if I have a what did I see? If I have a gilded stag or something without range coming into my side, like a necrolich, if I drop one of those Infernal Ghouls, it protects me from that 3 damage. It's going to absorb 3 damage.
I see. Yeah, I see.
Yeah. And if they don't kill it, then it gets 2 damage in, right?
It's like to block.
For 6 aura, 2 damage for 6 aura, I'll happily take that. And to protect against 3 or 4 damage for 6 aura, it's worth it as well.
What else do you have?
The last 2 cards, I have 4 Formosans.
Oh, that's a good card.
Just a little bit of range, a little bit of reach. I can drop them to put pressure on. The one game, the opponent was at 6 health. None of my summons could actually get through their other summons. So I stepped up. I dropped 2 Formosans. That's 4 damage, plus my fireball. And I was able to get the win. They get subbed out in my forethoughts when we talk about that. And then I have 5 meteorites. Because sometimes when you are going second and your opponent overplays, you just want to blow up the board, and then you drop your Brooks. After.
Well, also, like you can burn your opponent with it.
Yep. So. Actually, this championship was the first time I had used the second ability on the card a lot more.
I see.
Because there was a lot of Stone Protectors, a lot of Death's Companions. There was a lot of Necroliches. They all have 3 health, and they all build around their champion. So I was meteoriting, destroying their board. They had to reset, drop my Brook, get in position.
I see.
Next turn, they build out their board, meteorite that spot, Brooks come in for damage, and the game's pretty much over.
Is that all for your timeline?
Yeah.
Before the aftershocks, I have a couple of questions about this deck.
Sure.
So I understand the principle. You put some fast creature, blitz creature, and you try to bash your opponent until he's dead.
Yep.
So when I see deck like that, I'm thinking, if your opponent, let's say he play an angel turn 1, what do? You just pretend it's not there and you still go directly to the face? I guess, well, you have some range creature. Do you try to kill the angel? It's always really hard for pure aggro deck because you don't want to waste your resource. You have a very short window. I think, you can comment, but most likely past round 3, I think if you didn't win or if you are not near winning, it's probably finished for you, right?
Yeah. So the first angel I'm aware of. It depends also what else they're playing. If they're playing 2 angels, then I have to hopefully be looking at a meteorite, right?
I see.
They play 2 angels, I meteorite, and then I fireball the angel because I'll take care of one of them. Next round, their angel moves, I will hopefully fire. I'll be fireballing their angel the next time. If they play the angel with the stone protector, then I'm hoping to have the O10 in hand, and I'm almost going to pretty much ignore. I'm not going to be able to counter their angel and stone protector. Efficiently. Yeah. So then I need to have the defenses, and then I just go straight for their face. Because if I can kill them before their angel does enough damage to me, I still win the game.
Yeah, it's same for your opponent. Like, so actually, I think if I play like an angel deck against you, it might be better to actually attack you with the angels than to attack the creatures.
Yes. And I actually hope that they start attacking the creatures and fear it. I put enough pressure on Nubia that they have to use them defensively, and then I can just sit back and fireball, right? Because as soon as I get to Nubia to 12 health or 10 health, it's 5-turn clock, because she normally doesn't have the defenses unless they run Chrono Walker.
So like you said, you want ideally like 2 Baroque in your hand. Maybe like 1 or 2 baboons.
Yep. Usually 2 Baroque, 1 baboon, 1 to 2 meteorite, and then either a malicious or a jump.
So
or an Oten, one of those bottom ones.
So typically, like, well, if we look at until round 3, we should look at like 10 cards. So maybe like 3 Baroque, 2 baboons, and some cards. Is that enough to kill your opponent? Like, that's always a question. Like, do I apply enough pressure to win when I go under the opponent?
It is enough as long as the decision process that you're making is on whether or not they have the correct amount of damage for your health. So what happened in my top 8 game was when I had the hand that had the Brooks and the Anja Tiger and everything, I was looking at a really good hand. My opponent drew into 25 damage, right? And having set up and done everything correctly, I couldn't stop the 25 damage from happening, right?
Yeah.
So that's just that's a decision that was sort of difficult to decide. What do I need to do there? If I have 3 rounds and I'm putting 2 damage per round just on my champion, it really becomes the things that I'm afraid of are the 28, the 26, and the 30 health champions.
Yeah.
Because if you're under 20, then I can almost just sit back and fireball and let you do whatever you want. Play.
I think I would recommend this deck for somebody who want to start to be competitive and want to.
It would definitely be something worth building for sure.
So can you talk about your afterthoughts? And after I have a couple more questions.
Yeah. So so now we've talked about what sort of things am I afraid of, right? What sort of things do I need to adjust for? And so one of them is that Stone Protector Angel getting that perfect setup. The other one is really big creatures that can hurt me faster than my creatures can hurt them. So like a Lightless, or maybe it's a big, the Enraged Gorilla or something, or a Scorpion that's just picking me apart. And then it's AoE effects, right? Tsunamis, bolt shots, those types of things. So my baseline is, when I'm looking at angels, I have a couple different options. I have 2 more meteorite in the sides in my forethoughts, right? Drop 2 Brooks or drop my Anja Tigers, because the Anja Tiger does have an energy cost. So if my game's going to be a little more grindy, I don't want to waste that energy.
Yeah.
And I want to see more of these to try to take out those angels from far away. And then, as I mentioned, the Underworld Knowledge is only for game 1. And so I always sideboard out those for 2 more Otens, because it's just, I want to see this card in my hand as well.
I guess in this deck, you are not like in the middle of combat. You don't have creature on your left and right, so Oten is much better compared to a core deck where it looks kind of weird when you have Skeleton on your side and you can't really move.
So then I have my either for a spellcaster or for something with targeting damage. So this is what I brought in when I was facing Sid in the top 8. Game 2, I brought in the 4 Revenge of the Phoenix.
So what does it do, this card? I have one, but I didn't read.
So Revenge of the Phoenix basically prevent all damage dealt to you by a target attack ability. Okay, so something that's targeting you, right? So the substrike, or a bolt shot, right? Or something. No, sorry, not bolt shot. Substrike, heavy attacks, anything like that.
Yeah, anything that targets you.
Or another Brook or another Lightless, because all those are attacks, or an Angel. You prevent that, and then you return it to a target in that awareness.
Yeah, I remember it now.
Right. Now there is
costs 8 energy though.
8, yes. So if I'm hoping, so what I'm trying to do is now I'm in the middle of combat. They attack me with their Angel, and then Nubia is sitting in this awareness. I redirect the Angel's attack into Nubia.
Can you redirect to the Angel itself?
Or you can redirect to the Angel itself.
So that's a very good. Like we were looking at puppet control yesterday. This is kind of similar, different yet similar. It's a heavy removal. It's good for like large creature.
Now, the one JC, one of the designers and judges, one of the things he likes to do with his Brooks is you can have your Brook. Let's say your Brook's not in a position to attack your champion, your opponent, but you could have them attack you. So you could have the Brook attack you, and then you could take that damage and put it onto the champion if you were in that position. So it's a lot. It doesn't have to be your opponent's attack.
Yeah, and the awareness is there is 3 spots.
Really good.
Yeah. Oh, I see. So you can attack yourself with direct, and that's kind of interesting.
And then the other thing for when they're coming in and targeting you is the Rampage Toss. Doesn't work against the Angel, but if their champion like Kuhn was coming in to attack me, or if a Malik was coming in to attack me, I can Rampage Toss a summon or a champion. A little bit of chip damage, but I can also move them.
But it means you have to go very close to. So I guess if they come
to me.
Yeah, I see. And what do you take out when you want to put like Rampage Toss, for example?
So Rampage Toss, I would take out the Formosan gorillas because they're too expensive.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Interesting. So
then when I have the AOE, the last part of my 4 thoughts is I have the Yamaduta.
Oh yeah, I saw that in here. So okay, I love this card, but I never played. So what does it do?
So Yamaduta is a Resurrect Beacon, and it's quick, so it can happen at the end of any time, any end of a phase, or in response to something. So what I do here is I force my opponent to use their big AOE spells on my summon, have them waste their aura or their energy, whatever it is, kill my summon, and then before the end of the round, I will drop 1 or 2 of these back in those spots where they died, and then it's almost as if they've wasted. Yes, I'm not getting as big of a creature, but now this is still in the spot where it can be annoying and chip and chip and chip.
So that's interesting because like I remember this card, and like, do you put it together with Revenge of the Phoenix just so that you can mill yourself out? Like, do you try to build around like kind of a different strategy?
You could. I'm not sure when I would want to necessarily try that, but that is an option. It was mostly
because they need to be in your graveyard or in your memories.
It's mostly just that what happens with that, especially that Kuhn area of effect, those sandstorms and those tsunami decks, is that they are coming up to you, right? I can't necessarily push my summons out of the way, or I can't necessarily jump out of the way because they're always, because of his dash that has,
moves so much.
and his ability to move around and fly, I can't get out of the way. So what the Yamaduta is a 4 chi, right? For 6 aura. I can drop all my energy for the jumps and the malicious persuasions, which are useless, and then this gives me an annoying little 2 damage attack. after they've wasted, right? So hopefully I've spread out. They've wasted their spells trying to take out my big threat, and then I bring something back.
So I have a kind of a last question, or I have two last questions. One is this is really a red deck, right?
Yeah.
So I mean I understand like Idris is good because there is fireball.
Right.
Black is good because you can play meteorite. But did you explore using another hero that was red on something else, just to open more options?
So I have done a iteration of this with Odara, where I basically have no meteorites, and I have 18 Brooks, and then it just becomes a Baruch combo, right? Where I use leap in that case to get from the back row into the middle of the arena, and then I'm playing a whole bunch of Baruchs. And then because of her spur on ability and because of the 5 health that Baruch has, you can use the spur on to have your Baruch do 8 damage in a round, one of your Baruch's enemies. So you just sort of spam that 4 damage. I have done Malik, right? You play it a little more. You won't play that. You can still play some meteorites. You can still play some Baruchs. And Malik allows you to add in some more energy because of his reduction. And he has 30 health. So you kind of play a more rush in and drop a Baruch sort of as a secondary way of attacking.
Like, I'm trying to remember which hero is white and red.
Yeah.
Which one is that?
Fong and Long.
Okay, yeah.
So I have a long deck that I play as well.
Because then you can play long shot. A long Baruch can be very aggressive. Still, so like,
and Fong too. Like you can play Brooks and bolt shots in the same deck.
Yeah. So that sounds kind of aggressive.
Yeah.
Why not that?
So that one is because unfortunately, when you have so many Brooks and so many bolt shots, you have to then find something else to put in the deck that allows you to help support. And those cards, Wind Slash is really good. But after that, it sort of becomes very much the same deck, right? It becomes, you put the baboons in, you put all that stuff in. And so you have the same deck, except that you don't have Meteorite and you don't have Malicious Persuasion and you don't have Fireball. At the end of the day,
I think Fireball
is the real deciding factor because yes, Fong is aggressive. And yes, Long can heal the Brooks and make them really big, but we were very time constrained as far as that Swiss round.
It's no. I mean, 50 minutes for 3 rounds is difficult.
It's difficult. So I went in with the game plan as I'm gonna win my games fast, and I'm going to be aggressive, and it worked. I was top seed going into the top 8, and then unfortunately my deck fell apart.
And what would you change? Like if somebody pick up this deck right now, what would you recommend changing? Would you recommend changing anything?
Other than that one game, it's never really fell apart like that before. It's pretty. Like I said, I've been playing this deck or an iteration of this deck for almost 2 years now, and I've got it to where I really think it's working really well. I think being part of Future League, I think there is a.
I wanted to ask you, like, I mean, not
no spoilers,
not without giving too much spoiler, but I think I want to show some of the new champions very soon. Is there a new champion red based that would be better than Idris?
They're all a little bit different.
Yeah, there is nothing like Idris really focused on damage.
No, focus on damage. But there are and some other techniques that allow her that will support a deck like this, and it might change it slightly, but there are some aggressive creatures that can be thrown in. The funny thing was, though, that I had lost so fast that I was actually able to join the sealed event.
Oh, so you play the sealed? Oh, cool.
Yeah. And so then I went from the sealed event and I ended up winning the sealed event, taking first place.
Oh, that was you. I was not sure. Like it was so fast. And
it was
okay,
so
we
fast.
will talk about Sealed another day.
Sure.
Because I want actually to build a deck with you.
Yeah.
We're gonna receive at the shop a lot of boxes next week. I want to build a deck with you, and I want you to kind of teach me how to
walk me through the sealed. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks, Will, for taking the time. And we will probably try to get Seed in the show this weekend, though, because it's busy. Everybody wants to talk with Seed. And if you have any requests on like deck tech, like if there is a deck that I don't show and you want to learn more about, or like a style of deck you just want to know if it exists or not, you just put in the comment below. Bye, guys. Peace.